whether he likes it or not, him banning homosexuality is not going to get rid of homosexuality in his country. Just like when Kadyrov was like, homosexuals in Chechnya, there are no homosexuals in Chechnya. He was just saying that so no matter what he does to the homosexual he finds, he could just be like, well, he never existed, I don't know what you're talking about. Just denying the existence of a people that exist in every country on the planet. I want to talk about African politics for a moment. Now, I don't get to talk about African politics much because I just don't know an awful ton about Africa, but something I do care a lot about is LGBTQ+ issues. And recently, there was an absolutely terrible decision that was taken in Uganda by their parliament to make it illegal to be gay. In Uganda, it is not just illegal to engage in homosexual relationships and queer intercourse, it is illegal to identify as LGBT, meaning that this legislation isn't meant to just, oh, if you have these attractions to stop, like all that would be terrible in and of itself. This makes it so if you are gay, you have to leave Uganda. Like that's your only options. You either have to leave Uganda or just risk possible 10 to 15 years in prison for being gay. That's what was passed. And let me just say, it wasn't a particularly close vote. It had overwhelming support. Let me play you the clip. Look at the parliament, how it reacted to this.
This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Can I just say, this is quite literally one of the most, if not the most now, restrictive places in the entire world to be a homosexual. Outside of maybe like Chechnya, which literally rounded up the gays and just tortured them, right? So, first off, can I just say, out of all the issues in Ugandan society to address, whether it be corruption, whether it be poverty, whether it be homelessness, lack of high educated workers to like invest into the tech sector or stuff like that, whether it be a brain drain or any other number of issues that Ugandan society is going through, crime, any of these issues. I'm happy that they've latched onto the issue that is going to improve the quality of living in Uganda the most by making certain Ugandans afraid to be alive in your country. It doesn't subtract the amount of gay people in the world. All it says to your gay community is A, live in hiding forever until you've permanently reduced a certain part of your population to permanent poverty, cyclical homelessness, and terrible treatment from the community. That's only going to encourage the hatred towards them, and who knows what possible violence down the line. Or it's telling these people that, well, if I can't live here, then I should just leave here. Telling Ugandan homosexuals that the best place for them is not Uganda. It is not living in the country they were born in. They have to live somewhere else if they want to be able to live who they are. And out of all the issues of Ugandan society, this is the one that they want to address. They want to make it harder for certain Ugandans to live freely in their country. Terrible logic. And it's done with such jovial attitudes. Like they're so excited to make it illegal to be who you are in Uganda, man. It's absolutely god awful. A lot of the homophobia in from the colonial periods in Uganda was from the colonists, but now those who are ruling Uganda have adopted, in some instances, even more strict regulations and are going further and are saying they're going to invest more resources into it. They're saying they want to send more cops into it as they're actively making it so that Uganda makes no progress on this issue since colonial period. That they want to be at the same standard of treating these people, treating this minority group as they were in colonial period to now. It's absolutely bizarre to just say, I'm going to stop development in this entire section of my society. Now, putting that aside for a moment, obviously, this has no defense. The only defense that I hear from people trying to defend this is they're saying, oh, this is just Ugandan culture. It's just the way it is. Which I'm going to be very blunt. If part of your culture is attacking and being mean and arresting people for being who they are, attacking them for being part of a minority group, then that's a crap part of your culture. There's a lot of crap parts of American culture. There's a lot of crap parts of Russian culture, of British culture. That's going to be a crap part of your culture. If part of your culture is to make it illegal to be a minority, illegal for people to be who they are, illegal for people to be gay. So I don't care if somebody wants to make that defense. I think it's crap. I think it's crap defense. And that's somebody trying to fill the gaps on the fact that they have no argument to defend what they believe. Most people would defend what they would believe. When we outlaw homosexuality, you're going to see a 20% reduction in crime. That's the type of stuff people would use to support a policy if they had that type of data. But the thing is, there is no data to support that banning homosexuality, making it illegal to just be gay, is going to reduce crime, is going to increase the quality of living, is going to do anything to help Ugandan society. And so since they cannot mount a defense for this, when they've got a million other political issues to deal with, instead, someone will just come up and say, culture, it is what it is. We're doing this because we want to, and you just got to accept it that way. It's popular, as if nothing bad has ever been popular. It is what it is. Hogwash. Ultimately, I cannot go to Uganda with a gun and then tell them to change this law, right? They should change the law. They should get rid of the law, to be quite frank with you. They should be going in a completely other direction. I can't do that. But I do think there is a question to be had of if nation states are actively rolling back the protections for minority groups in their country, and not only rolling back the protections, but doing the exact opposite and instituting systemic discrimination against them for being who they are, is that a country that should be receiving services or assistance or help in any way from the United States? I can understand like cooperation on something like international terrorism, because that's of direct national security concern. But there is a question to be had of saying, like, should American dollars go towards Uganda if that money is going to flow through the economy, eventually to flow towards the oppression of queer folks? There is a question to be had about that. There is a genuine question to be had about that. That if a nation state decides to try to retract from modern standards, then it shouldn't be that surprising that a lot of countries that want to live in, modern times is not going to want to associate with you, not going to want to work with you, and never going to try to write any extradition treaties with you because they're going to be scared that you're going to go after people for something like this. And we just saw people are going to be like, look, at the end of the day, it's all about Ugandans. It's only Ugandans, so it is what it is. Number one, I do not believe border dictates morality, but we just saw the story with Eden Knight. We just saw how at the end of the day that a lot of these homophobic families and homophobic empires will have their long-reaching arms reach into other countries, grab vulnerable queer people, and drag them back. Many times human trafficking them, many times kidnapping them, and many times deceiving them, using deceit in order to drag them back to their home countries, making them think it's going to be safe. How long until we see an Eden Knight situation, but it's going to be a Ugandan Eden Knight? A Ugandan person who was in the United States before being trafficked back to Uganda, who then ends their own life because they've been doomed to live in a country that hates them and has no sign in the near future of changing. My goodness, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But if you wanted to see some of the defenses for this, I can show you the former Ugandan president talking about how homosexuals are disgusting. If you just want to see the logic behind this, like what type of justification could they possibly have for this type of legislation? Here is the Ugandan president from 6 years ago of a similar stripe trying to justify the country's homophobia.
What is your message to Western human rights groups, to President Obama, to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people?
Respect African societies and their values. If you don't agree, you just keep quiet. Let's manage our society the way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves. Just the way we don't interfere with yours.
Do you personally dislike homosexuals?
Of course, they are disgusting. What sort of people are they? How can you go I don't. I never knew what they were doing. That's how I've been told recently that what they do is terrible, disgusting. But I was ready to ignore that if there was proof that that's how he's born, abnormal. But now the proof is not there.
Number one, there is a treasure trove of scientific evidence pointing towards the idea that, at least to some extent, people are born with it. If it wasn't the case, then why is there homosexuals in every society, even the most homophobic ones on earth? Whether he likes it or not, him banning homosexuality is not going to get rid of homosexuality in his country. Just like when Kadyrov was like, homosexuals in Chechnya, there are no homosexuals in Chechnya. He was just saying that so no matter what he does to the homosexual he finds, he could just be like, well, he never existed. I don't know what you're talking about. Just denying the existence of a people that exist in every country on the planet. But you got to like listen to the same defense. The defense is literally like, I can't justify what I'm doing. All I'm saying is respect us for doing it because it's our decision. It is what it is. There's no like, hey, let's talk about the scientific literature or here's my defense of the policy. It's all just, and you can hear it from him, disgust reaction. I don't find men attractive. Therefore, I'm disgusted by it. Therefore, it should be illegal. There's a lot of people who disgust me. This guy right here, he disgusts me. But I think if he wants to be on the same earth as I do, I can't do anything to stop him. Like, I don't think we should pass any laws banning this guy from coming to my country or going to a different country. I'm not going to go out and impede him for just existing. But that's what the government of Uganda wants to do. They want to impede people just for existing while having no defense for it besides ill, gays are ill. And the type of propaganda that's pumped out about homosexuals in many parts of Africa, including Uganda, is like the idea that all gays just sit around and they eat like feces and just the most disgusting behavior. Because what they'll do is they'll go to the most like niche pornographic sites and find the most disgusting content, show that to people and say that's what gays do. Even though the vast majority of gays do not engage in that type of behavior. And a lot of the fetish content that they're looking at is also engaged in by straight people, but they're not going to say, hey, look, straight people engage in X fetish porn, they should be banned. Everybody would laugh in their face because I'm straight and I don't do that. So I know that's not true about all straight people. But there's no gay people openly in their lives telling them that, or at least nobody in their lives that they trust. And so it's easier to convince people of this homophobic garbage, of this idea that it's disgusting, therefore it should be banned. Just a basic disgust response. I also want to show you an example of an anti-gay preacher in Uganda from 13 years ago, meeting a homosexual man, and just the interaction I thought was kind of humorous.
I just want one homosexual, brilliant enough, in Britain or America or the whole world to come and face me. We face off each other. And he tells me when he started realizing that he was actually gay. Right. Because they are lying.
I believe...
So, just a question. Do you think if we went to the general standard of living, healthcare development, all these different issues in one of the most successful societies, and we took the societies in the country, in the world that are most accepting of queers, and the societies in the countries in the world that are least accepting of queers, which societies do you think are going to be more successful, have more prosperity, have more capital, have more success on average on running their societies and having prosperous societies and development? Just something to think about, that as countries develop and do more scientific research and learn more about these topics, they all seem to go one direction.
That I was born gay.
Are you a gay? You are gay. Since
as far as I can remember.
Now, tell me this. Have you ever had any woman?
No.
How many men have you had?
How many men? Oh, I couldn't count.
Many?
Oh, yeah.
You've had many? More than 10?
Yeah.
More than 20?
Yeah.
50?
Yeah.
So you don't love?
Yeah. I haven't had as many as I told you, by the way. Yeah, go on.
You don't love?
I do love.
So it's ganging?
I do love.
It's reckless?
It's not like I've been...
By the way, when I hear stuff like this, like, do you know how many men I know that'll brag about how many women they've slept with and will like show that as like a conquest or a triumph? And nobody's going to go up to him and say, God, so being straight isn't about love. No, that's only something that's put upon gay people when a gay person acts promiscuously. By the way, you can act promiscuously and still know what love is. You can still know those two things.
Philandering myself everywhere and carousing.
One comes, another comes,
no,
another
it's not
comes.
like that.
You see, it's
It's
reckless.
not like that.
Scott,
Straight relationships work out, gay relationships work out, or they don't.
You put it into your heart, into your mind that I think, and now you believe it. You've got to say that to deceive other people because you want so many people to come to your ranks.
I don't want anyone to come to my ranks. I'm not recruiting people. It's just the way I am.
Dude, this guy sees like a gay man from a distance and he's like, I'm being recruited. I gotta look away. I'm being recruited. The idea of recruitment into homosexuality makes me think that there's a lot of people who, if you believe in recruitment, like the idea that people are just being recruited into homosexuality, it makes me think that you're closeted bisexual because in your mind, like, yeah, I could be attracted to men and I could, sleep with men, but I don't do it because I'm not going to be recruited. It just makes me think that you're like a closeted bisexual. Which is actually the largest percentage of the LGBT community is bisexuals. They're the largest and the fastest growing.
Look, don't fool the world.
I'm not fooling the world.
And don't fool Ugandans.
Oh my God.
My brother, my son.
Oh my God.
Okay? You were not born a gay.
Okay.
You were born a man with a penis.
Yes, that's right.
Okay?
Penis.
And with ananas.
Yes,
The
I believe
anus
so.
was for defecation, and the penis was for urination.
Okay, yeah, we've been
and
through
of
this.
course,
Can we agree to disagree on this?
you cannot convince me.
That's clear. Well, it's been good to have this.
The intellectual powerhouse right here, man. He almost made me homophobic. Ugandans, they want to take advantage of the fact there's no laws against Pokemon Batman. Bro. I don't know what that means, but thank you. That's true. Thank you for the 100 bits. The important question is, how many people did you recruit to the CIA and how many to gay? I recruited more people to the CIA, but I do think ever since I've started recruiting for them that the gay percentage of CIA agents has increased extremely.